Imagine having a brain that cuts through confusion like a blade. No overthinking, no mental fog, no getting stuck while others move fast. You listen once and get it. You read something and instantly connect the dots. You make decisions calmly while everyone else panics. Now here's the truth nobody tells you. This has nothing to do with talent, IQ, or being born smart. It's about how your brain is trained daily, and most people are training theirs in the worst possible way. Right now, brains are getting slower, not sharper. Short attention spans, constant distraction, fake knowledge from endless scrolling, and people think this is normal. It's not. It's mental decay, and the scary part? You don't even realize it's happening until your focus is gone, your thinking feels heavy, and learning feels hard. In this video, we're not doing motivation. We're not doing pseudoscience. We're doing reality. How the brain actually works. Why it becomes dull, and how to reverse that using logic, biology, and daily systems, not hacks. If you want a brain that thinks clearly, learns faster, and stays sharp in a noisy world, watch this till the end. This might be the most important upgrade you ever give yourself. Why most brains are dull, and it's not your fault. Let's be brutally honest for a second. Most people today are not dumb, they're mentally rusty. Their brain isn't weak by default, it's just badly trained. The modern lifestyle is anti-brain by design. Endless scrolling, zero deep thinking, instant dopamine, zero patience. Your brain is basically living on junk food. And then people wonder why they can't focus, can't think clearly, can't remember things, and feel mentally slow. That's not genetics. That's bad mental habits. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Your brain works exactly like a muscle. If you don't stress it properly, it shrinks in performance. If you overfeed it with garbage input, it becomes lazy. If you never challenge it, it adapts to the lowest possible effort. This is pure neuroscience, not motivation talk. Neuroplasticity means your brain rewires itself based on what you repeatedly do. Scroll mindlessly, right-pointing arrow brain optimizes for shallow thinking. Think deeply, right-pointing arrow brain optimizes for sharp thinking. Simple cause and effect. Most people think being sharp means memorizing facts or having high IQ. That's outdated thinking. Sharpness is about processing speed, clarity, pattern recognition, and decision quality. A sharp brain cuts through noise. It sees what matters and ignores bullshit. It doesn't panic. It doesn't overthink useless things. It focuses when needed and rests when needed. And the good news? This is trainable at any age. In this video, we're not doing fake brain hacks or miracle tips. No pseudoscience, no drink this magic tea nonsense. We're building a system, a realistic, scientific, daily life-based system to upgrade how your brain functions. The same way you upgrade a phone by removing bloatware and installing better software, we're going to do that with your mind. Step by step, practical, no fluff. But before we sharpen the brain, we need to understand one thing clearly. What is making it dull in the first place? You can't fix a system if you don't diagnose the problem. In the next part, we'll expose the silent habits that are slowly killing your brain sharpness without you even realizing it. The silent brain killers you ignore every day. Let's talk about the real enemies of a sharp brain, not obvious ones, but the silent killers you normalize daily. The first one is constant distraction. Notifications, short videos, random content hopping. This trains your brain to never stay with one thought long enough to understand it deeply. Your brain becomes reactive, not analytical. It jumps, panics, and escapes instead of thinking. Over time, this literally damages your attention span. Not metaphorically, neurologically. The second killer is zero boredom. Sounds weird, but boredom is fuel for intelligence. When you remove boredom completely, your brain never gets the chance to think, reflect, or connect ideas. Every spare second is filled with stimulation. Music while eating, phone while waiting, videos before sleeping. Your brain never enters default mode, which is where creativity, insight, and deep thinking actually happen. You're robbing yourself of your own intelligence. Third, information overload without processing. Watching podcasts, reels, motivational videos, knowledge content, but never pausing to think, question, or apply. This creates the illusion of intelligence, not intelligence itself. You feel smart because you consumed content, but your brain didn't work. Sharp brains are built by effort, not consumption. Learning without thinking is mental junk food. Another underrated killer is lack of physical movement. Your brain is not separate from your body. Blood flow, oxygen, hormones, all of this affects cognition. Sitting all day makes your brain slower. Multiple studies show that even light exercise improves memory, focus, and problem solving. Yet people want mental sharpness while living like statues. That's not how biology works. And finally, emotional clutter. Unresolved stress, constant comparison, overthinking useless stuff. A cluttered mind cannot be a sharp mind. Your brain spends energy worrying instead of analyzing. Decision fatigue kicks in. Focus dies. This is why mentally sharp people simplify their lives aggressively. Less drama, less noise, less bullshit. Here's the key realization. You don't need to add anything yet, you need to subtract first. Before sharpening the blade, remove the rust. In the next part, we'll talk about how to clean your mental environment so your brain can even start performing at a higher level. Clean your mental environment before training your brain. Before you try to make your brain sharper, faster, or smarter, you need to fix the environment it operates in. No high-performance system works inside chaos. A dirty operating system slows even the best hardware. Your brain is the same. If your daily inputs are messy, overstimulating, and random, no brain exercise will save you. So this part is about mental hygiene, the boring but powerful foundation. Start with input control. Your brain becomes what it consumes. Not food, information, news, reels, memes, arguments, drama. All of this trains your brain to react emotionally instead of thinking logically. You don't need to know everything. You need to know what matters. Sharp people are extremely selective about what they let into their mind. If content doesn't educate, challenge, or relax you intentionally, it's probably mental junk. Next is single tasking, which is a superpower now. Multitasking is a myth. Neuroscience is clear. Your brain just switches tasks rapidly and pays a cost every time. That cost is focus and accuracy. When you do one thing fully, reading, studying, thinking, your brain strengthens neural pathways responsible for deep focus. That's literal brain training without any special tools. Then comes sleep discipline, which people love to ignore. No sleep, no sharpness. Period. During deep sleep, your brain clears metabolic waste and consolidates memory. Skipping sleep is like refusing to save a file and then complaining it's gone. You can't biohack your way around biology. If your sleep is trash, your thinking will be too. Another big one. Mental noise reduction. Stop arguing with imaginary people in your head. Stop replaying conversations. Stop obsessing over things you can't control. This is not spiritual advice, it's cognitive load management. Every unnecessary thought eats processing power. Sharp minds aren't busy, they're clear. Here's the rule: clarity before complexity. Clean input, clean focus, clean rest. Only after this does brain training actually work. In the next part, we'll start building core habits that directly increase thinking speed, memory, and clarity, without gimmicks. Core daily habits that literally rewire your brain. Now we move from cleaning to building. This is where your brain actually starts upgrading. No hype, no miracle tricks. Just habits that are backed by neuroscience and brutally effective if done consistently. The keyword here is daily. Sharpness is not an event, it's a process. First habit: intentional thinking time. Every sharp mind has one thing in common: they think on purpose. Not scrolling, not reacting, not consuming. Thinking. Take 20 to 30 minutes daily where you sit with one question, one problem, or one idea. No phone, no music, just your brain. This forces deep neural activation. At first it feels uncomfortable because your brain is addicted to stimulation. That discomfort is growth. Second habit: reading that stretches you. Not tweets, not captions. Real reading. Books, long articles, complex ideas. When you read something slightly above your comfort level, your brain works harder to decode meaning, connect ideas, and retain information. That struggle increases cognitive endurance. Think of it as progressive overload for the brain. Easy content maintains you, hard content upgrades you. Third, writing your thoughts. Writing is thinking made visible. When you write, your brain is forced to organize chaos into structure. Even simple journaling, what you learned, what confused you, what you believe, sharpens clarity and reasoning. You don't need to be a writer. You need to be a thinker who writes. Fourth, delayed gratification training. This one is underrated but powerful. Do small uncomfortable things daily, waiting instead of checking your phone, finishing a task before relaxing, choosing effort over ease. This strengthens the prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for focus, logic, and self-control. A strong prefrontal cortex equals a sharp brain. Last habit for this part: question everything. Not in a toxic way, but in a curious way. Why does this work? Is this claim true? What's the evidence? This trains critical thinking. Sharp brains don't accept things blindly, they test ideas. Belief without evidence is mental laziness. Curiosity with logic is intelligence. These habits look simple, but don't underestimate them. Done daily, they reshape how your brain processes reality. In the next part, we'll talk about food, movement, and biology. Because no matter how intellectual you are, your brain still runs on biology. Your brain is biological, not magical. Let's destroy one illusion right now. Your brain is not some separate spiritual entity. It's a physical organ made of cells, chemicals, electricity, blood flow, and nutrients. If you ignore biology and chase mindset only, you're sabotaging yourself. A sharp brain needs the right fuel and conditions to operate at peak performance. First, food matters more than motivation. Your brain consumes around 20% of your body's energy. If you keep feeding it ultra-processed junk, sugar spikes, and random eating patterns, don't expect clarity. Stable blood sugar equals stable thinking. Protein, healthy fats, fiber, and micronutrients support neurotransmitters like dopamine and acetylcholine, which directly affect focus and memory. This is not diet culture, it's chemistry. Second, hydration is underrated but critical. Even mild dehydration reduces attention, reaction time, and memory. Your brain cells communicate through electrical signals, and water is essential for that process. Feeling mentally foggy? Sometimes it's not overthinking, it's dehydration. Simple, boring, powerful. Now let's talk about movement. You don't need to be a gym freak. But if you're sedentary, your brain suffers. Walking, light cardio, stretching, these increase blood flow and oxygen delivery to the brain. This literally improves learning speed and memory formation. Some of the smartest ideas in history came during walks, not sitting on chairs staring at screens. Next is sunlight and circadian rhythm. Your brain runs on internal clocks. Morning sunlight regulates hormones like cortisol and melatonin, which affect alertness and sleep quality. Messed up sleep cycle equals messed up thinking. You can't outthink a broken biological rhythm. And finally, stress management. Chronic stress floods your brain with cortisol, which damages memory and decision-making over time. Sharp brains are not constantly stressed, they're regulated. That doesn't mean life is easy. It means the nervous system is trained to recover faster. Here's the takeaway. Stop treating your brain like a motivational poster. Treat it like a high-performance machine. Fuel it right. Move it regularly. Respect its rhythms. In the next part, we'll sharpen the brain further by training memory, focus, and learning speed in a very practical way. Practical techniques to boost memory, focus, and learning speed. Now that your foundation is set, let's get into practical brain training. This is where your mental performance can take off, not because of hacks, but because of focused, deliberate techniques that sharpen specific areas of cognition. Let's start with memory. One of the most powerful tools is spaced repetition. Instead of cramming information, you revisit it at increasing intervals. Day 1, Day 3, Day 7, Day 14, etc. This mimics how your brain naturally strengthens neural pathways. It's how top students remember massive volumes without burnout. Apps like Anki are designed for this. But even manually doing it with index cards or notes works insanely well. Now, for focus, the most endangered skill in the 21st century. The key is to train it like a muscle. Use the Pomodoro technique, 25 minutes of deep work, followed by a 5-minute break. During those 25 minutes, everything goes off: phone, music, notifications. You'll feel restless at first, but that's withdrawal from distraction. Stay with the discomfort. That's your brain adapting. Also, try attention anchoring, which means before starting any task, you mentally say, "The only thing that matters for the next 25 minutes is this." It sounds simple, but this pre-task ritual primes your brain to shift into full presence. It trains your mental gatekeeping ability, the part that blocks out irrelevant input. For learning speed, combine reading with interleaving. Don't binge one topic mindlessly. Instead, mix related but different topics in a study session, like data plus logic plus writing. This forces your brain to shift and adapt, which builds better retention and flexibility. It's harder, but that's what makes it effective. Easy learning equals fast forgetting. Another tool: teach what you learn. If you can't explain it simply, you haven't understood it deeply. When you try to teach a concept, your brain restructures it more clearly, and that creates long-term memory. Even explaining to yourself in front of a mirror works, or better, record a 1-minute video summarizing what you just learned. Bottom line, you don't need 100 apps. You need 5 to 6 powerful techniques repeated consistently. Memory, focus, learning. These are trainable skills. In the next part, we'll talk about how to protect your sharp brain from energy vampires, the people, habits, and environments that silently drain your mental power. Protect your brain from energy vampires. You can train your brain perfectly, eat right, sleep well, and still feel mentally dull if your energy is constantly being drained. Mental sharpness isn't just about building power, it's also about protecting it. And the biggest threats are not always obvious. They're the people, habits, and environments that quietly exhaust your cognitive energy. First, toxic conversations. Endless complaining, gossip, emotional drama, pointless arguments. These are cognitive parasites. They pull your brain into emotional reactivity instead of rational thinking. Sharp minds avoid useless debates and emotional chaos. Not because they're arrogant, but because they understand opportunity cost. Every hour spent in nonsense is an hour not spent thinking, learning, or building. Second, decision overload. Making too many small, meaningless decisions drains mental energy. What to wear, what to eat, what to watch, all of this eats up your prefrontal cortex. That's why high-performing people simplify aggressively. Fixed routines, fewer choices, less friction. A sharp brain doesn't waste energy on trivialities. Third, environmental noise. Constant background noise, cluttered spaces, messy rooms. Your brain processes this even when you think you're ignoring it. Visual and auditory clutter increase cognitive load. Clean space equals clean mind is not philosophy, it's psychology. Organizing your environment is a form of mental optimization. Fourth, social media comparison. Nothing dulls the brain faster than constantly measuring yourself against curated illusions. It triggers stress, insecurity, and distraction, all enemies of clarity. Sharp people use social media intentionally or not at all. They don't let algorithms hijack their thinking. And finally, negative self-talk. This one is internal but deadly. Calling yourself slow, dumb, or incapable becomes a self-fulfilling loop. Your brain adapts to how you label it. Sharp people don't lie to themselves, but they also don't sabotage themselves. Protecting your brain is a form of intelligence. You don't need to be everywhere, respond to everyone, or consume everything. In the next part, we'll talk about how to think better, not just faster, logic, reasoning, and mental models that actually upgrade intelligence. Upgrade your thinking, not just your speed. A fast brain that thinks poorly is dangerous. A sharp brain is not just quick, it's accurate. This part is about improving the quality of your thinking, logic, reasoning, and decision-making. This is where real intelligence shows up. First, understand this. Most people don't think, they react. They repeat opinions, emotions, and beliefs absorbed from others. Sharp thinkers slow down before concluding. They ask, what's the evidence? What's the alternative explanation? What am I assuming without proof? This habit alone separates rational thinkers from emotional thinkers. One powerful tool is first principles thinking. Instead of accepting how things usually work, break problems down to their fundamental truths. Ask, what is undeniably true here? Then rebuild your understanding from the ground up. This removes assumptions and weak logic. It's how scientists and engineers solve complex problems, and you can apply it to daily life decisions too. Next, probabilistic thinking. Life is not black and white. Sharp brains think in probabilities, not certainties. Instead of, this will definitely work, or, this will fail, they think, what are the chances? This reduces overconfidence, improves judgment, and prevents emotional decisions. Reality is messy. Your thinking should reflect that. Also, learn to separate facts from stories. Your brain loves narratives, but stories are not evidence. Just because something feels true doesn't make it true. Sharp thinkers constantly ask, is this a verified fact, or just a convincing story? This protects you from manipulation, superstition, and pseudoscience. Another critical skill is error detection. When you're wrong, notice it without ego. The fastest way to sharpen your brain is to update beliefs quickly when new evidence appears. Intelligence is not stubbornness, it's adaptability. In short, slow thinking creates better outcomes than fast guessing. In the next part, we'll talk about long-term brain sharpness. How to keep your mind clear, curious, and powerful for years, not just weeks. How to keep your brain sharp for the long term. Making your brain sharp for a few weeks is easy. Keeping it sharp for years is where most people fail. Why? Because they chase intensity instead of sustainability. A sharp brain is not built by extreme routines. It's built by systems you can follow even on bad days. First principle, consistency beats intensity. Doing small brain positive actions daily, reading a few pages, thinking deeply for 10 minutes, walking regularly, compounds massively over time. Your brain adapts to what you do often, not what you do occasionally. Miss a day? Fine. Quit the system? That's where decay starts. Second, lifelong learning mindset. Sharp people never mentally retire. They stay curious. They learn new skills, explore new domains, and deliberately stay uncomfortable. Learning a new language, tool, or discipline forces your brain to form new neural connections. Comfort is the enemy of cognition. Third, periodic mental audits. Every few months, ask yourself, how is my focus? What's draining my energy? What habits crept in that don't serve me anymore? Sharp minds self-correct. They don't let bad habits silently take over again. Fourth, purposeful challenges. A brain without challenge gets lazy. Set problems that force thinking, projects, debates, complex goals. Not stress, but challenge. Stress breaks you. Challenge grows you. There's a difference. Fifth, social quality over quantity. Spending time with people who think clearly, question deeply, and speak rationally upgrades your thinking automatically. Brains sync. Choose your environment wisely. Long-term sharpness is not about age, it's about usage. There are 20-year-olds mentally dull and 60-year-olds mentally razor-sharp. Biology matters, but habits matter more. In the final part, we'll tie everything together into a clear, practical daily framework you can actually follow, without overthinking it. The simple daily framework to keep your brain razor-sharp. Let's bring everything together. No theory, no overload. Just a clean, realistic framework you can follow in real life. A sharp brain doesn't need perfection, it needs direction and discipline. Start your day by protecting your morning. The first hour decides your mental quality for the entire day. No random scrolling, no emotional content. Instead, sunlight, water, and a few minutes of silence. This stabilizes your nervous system and sets your brain in control mode, not reaction mode. Next, one deep thinking block. Just one, 25 to 45 minutes where you work on something that actually matters. Studying, learning, planning, problem solving. Phone away. Single task. This is your brain gym. Do this daily and your focus will improve automatically over time. Then, input with intention. Read something that stretches your thinking. Not endless content, one solid piece. After reading, pause and ask, what did I actually learn? That pause is where intelligence is formed. Add movement and fuel. Walk, stretch, eat in a way that keeps energy stable. You don't need obsession, just awareness. Your brain can't perform on chaos. End the day with reflection, not distraction. Write a few lines. What went well, what you learned, what to improve tomorrow. This trains self-awareness and long-term clarity. Then sleep. Sleep is not optional, it's non-negotiable. Finally, remember this. A sharp brain is not loud, flashy, or arrogant. It's calm, clear, curious, and controlled. It doesn't chase beliefs, it follows evidence. It doesn't fear thinking, it enjoys it. If you apply even half of what you learned in this video, your thinking speed, clarity, and confidence will improve dramatically in the next few months. Not magically, scientifically. Sharpening your brain is one of the highest return investments you can make in life. No degree, no permission, just discipline.